Hello, welcome to After Effects. We're going to talk today about the Adobe workflow between programs. Most of all of the Adobe programs work really well together because they're designed that way. There's really no wrong or right way, but I just want to kind of stretch your thinking on how you can use these programs. First, you can start in one program and then import it into another. You can dynamically link between programs if you want. That means that if you change a file in its native program like Photoshop and you have linked it to Premiere Pro, the Premiere Pro file will automatically update when you open it. You can go Premiere Pro to After Effects and back to Premiere Pro. You can go Photoshop to Premiere Pro, Illustrator to After Effects. I'm going to show you how to access those abilities today. For example, let's talk a little bit about a sequence here that I have for the video news. The intro was created in After Effects, and then it was brought into Premiere Pro. And this is what the sequence looks like, all completed. And then we go into our video news. There are many effects, basic effects, that are in both Premiere Pro and After Effects. So you can actually copy and paste segments into another project. Let's say this first segment, I decide there's something I want to add in After Effects or change. This was actually created in After Effects using a template. The color and the logos were changed so that it matched the look we wanted. If I right-click on this clip, and I'll say replace with After Effects composition, you'll see that this little clip gets red, and you'll also notice that down here in my project window, you'll see that it's showing that it's linked down here to a composition in After Effects is what that icon means. So if I go over here to After Effects, I'll now see that I have that composition ready for me to start editing. And I can go in here and add or change whatever effects I want. Now this composition was obviously already flattened. It was not brought in so that it was linked dynamically originally, but if I wanted to make further changes to it and use this dynamic link, I'd be able to do that. I can also bring in an entire project. So if I wanted to, I can go File, Import, and I can say Adobe Premiere Pro Project. So I'd go where I save my files and I'd find my Premiere Pro project file. So here's an animal morph I did, some graphic design students. I took their animal morphs they created in Photoshop and made a slideshow. I could actually import this project into After Effects, the whole entire project. So it needs to be the PRPROJ. That would be the Premiere Pro project file. And I would say open, and it's asking if I want to import audio, and I want to select all sequences within that project. So I would say OK. This is saying that there's an error, so I have a We Will Rock You M4A, that's an audio file that is missing. It's no longer linked in that project, so it's letting me know that's a potential problem. Okay, and so this new sequence 01 that I just imported, I'll see that I have the students' animal files along with the dip to black, cube spin, flip over. Everything that I had added in this Premiere Pro project is also importing here. You can see that it's much more complicated looking in After Effects because of the ability to animate, and so that's why after you do your special effects, you bring it back into Premiere Pro to finish your edits. So this is a really interesting way to look at it. Now, a lot of these files are missing because they have been moved from their original source document, but this is just allowing you to see how you can bring in a whole Premiere Pro project. Next, I want to show you how you can go File, Import, and then we can say, here it's showing the Adobe Premiere Pro project that we just did. You can also bring in a file. So I'm going to go to one of my Photoshop files that I've been working on. So I'm going to go to, it's going to be stored on my F drive and my examples. Layers, this was created in Photoshop. PSD is a Photoshop document. And I'm going to say import. Now it's asking me, how do I want to import this? I want to import this as a composition. And I want to have editable layer styles. You can click on these to see the different descriptions on what they do. I can editable layer styles matches the Photoshop appearance. Supported style properties will be fully editable. Note that a layer with a layer style cannot intersect a 3D layer. Or I could say merge layer styles into footage. Merge layer styles into footage renders faster and allows for 3D intersections. It may not match Photoshop exactly. So you might experiment with these and see which one would look better, and make a new sequence by double clicking on that. And then you can see here that I have 8 layers that came in with Photoshop. And what's really fun about this is I can now go in here and select these layers, and I could bring them so that they come up one at a time, and I could animate these so that they twirl in, twirl out, etc. So right now I'm just going to move them slightly to see what they'd look like if I just staggered them, and this might take a little too long here. Add some sound, it could be a little more dynamic. Alright, so this ability, what I imported, I could add 3D dimensions to this. You can do the same thing with Illustrator files, bring them in here, and then come in and open these up. I could bring this in so this layer rotates. We set our animation here, and then have it change so that at this location it's at a different, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so you just kind of have some fun there and playing around with the different layers. So this gives you the ability to animate a Photoshop file within After Effects. You can do this same thing in Premiere Pro. You would go File, Import. You would find the file that you want to import. We're going to bring in this Photoshop document. You're going to get this box here, this pop-up window that's going to ask you, do you want to merge all the layers? No, I do not. I would like to have individual layers, which is going to allow me to create some movement. And so I'll bring in all those layers. It brings it in like a little folder here. So I've got all my layers. I can go ahead and drop this whole folder in here, which would put them side by side. But I don't want them in side by side. I actually want to, see, I want to stack them, maybe slightly offset them. You can see how different this looks in Premiere Pro versus After Effects. And because these are images that don't move, I can actually extend the length of how long they play. So this is the same thing in Premiere Pro that I just did in After Effects, basically. It can save you time to not have to render out your files when you want to make some quick edits in After Effects and just dynamically link those into Premiere Pro. So there's many ways to use these programs interchangeably, and I just wanted you to kind of think about the workflow and how you might use this while you're creating. So the big hint here is to make sure you save your files first, make a backup of important footage and files depending how you're going to use them. And if you can't bring in your After Effects files into Premiere Pro, make sure to check and that you have saved it to your hard drive. Okay, now it's your turn. You have an idea? We want to see it. Don't be afraid to share your files between programs and see how that can save you some time. Be creative, have fun, and I look forward to seeing your work.